Hi, welcome back to my channel, Miranda's Cauldron. I'm Miranda, aka Rita, because that's how most of you knew me before I started my own YouTube channel. This is the mid-year freakout for June 2025. I was tagged by Mama Maggie, and I'm finally able to get this video down. I was going to do like one of those recorded videos, but I haven't done that yet other than on my phone and then transfer it up to YouTube. So I figured, hey, why not make it real? And since this is the mid freak out, I figured why not do it the way that I'm used to doing. Because even when I do videos, I don't edit them. I just let it be what it is. Okay, so the first question will be, did you set any writing goals at the beginning of the year? Yes, I did. One of the things that I really wanted to do this year was actually hold one of my many books in paperback in my hand. I wrote my first novel, even though I don't really consider it my first because I was only 16, which is pretty funny because one of my series is set back in 1984 when my characters are 15 and 16 years old. So I thought it was quite fitting. So that was one of my goals, was to hold the first book of Essence of Elements in my hand, Lear. I talk about it a lot at these streams and at other people's streams because that's what I've been working on for a while. So I wanted to get that done. I'm, let's just say, closer today than I was in January. I've put my whole entire book into one document, went through them all, final edits. Then I decided, hey, I think it'd be kind of fun to put chapter titles and look through the chapter and figure out what phrase I want to use. So I did that back in April. Even though I was kind of ready. No, I think I did that actually in May. And that was after I read it through and did another final rounds of edits. And then, of course, when I was doing the chapter titles, I found more just little mistakes and then a couple of things I had to rewrite sections and what have you. So needless to say, I guess it is on track because I'm going through it now. I'm up to chapter 5, and then I'll be able to do the whole upload to KDP and send it to proof copy. And my other writing goal was to continue revising one final time of Witches of Solace, book 1, which is technically calling Mare Berwick, which is the village it's in. And that's the story that's set in 1984. I have Critique Partners now. Well, I guess it's been almost a year that we've been getting together weekly. And we've been reading and critiquing each other's stories, chapters, and it's been really good. So I just want to continue doing that. So at least that task is on track. I wanted to also do some revising in book 2 of Essence of Elements, but I haven't even looked at it. But that's okay because my number one goal was those 2, which I'm pretty good at. And there's a comment. So let's see who's here. And it is, a couple people. Okay, we have Jen. Hello. And Mama Maggie. The reason why I'm doing this. Thank you very much. And if you're like me, finding the whole proof copy a little bit overwhelming because you've never done it before, go to her channel, Mama Maggie's, and she has a step-by-step guide of how to do that with Amazon and KDP. So I'm going to go back up to the second question. let me just check my notes because that's what I do. I have these questions and then I write them out and then I'll just do what I can get done. Okay, so that's question number 1. And the question number 2, what are you working on and how much writing have you done so far? Okay. So back in January, I went through my hopefully another round of hopefully final revisions, edits for Lear. And between that and which is a solace, I like to keep track of task blocks because I'm not technically writing. I'm more like revising and editing and that. So for Lear, for the first quarter, I put in 122 task blocks. And then the second quarter, I put in 224 task blocks. And that was also about 20 task blocks of doing the back matter and the front matter and all that other stuff. And then for Which is a Solace, book 1, which like I said earlier, I'm revising. The first quarter, I spent 26 task blocks, which really isn't that much. And then for the second quarter, I put in 127. So I think that's pretty good, even though technically, if I wanted to, I could write from, let's say, 9 a.m., because who wants to be, or who's, I guess, a lot of people do write earlier in the morning, early in their day, but I tend to not really be a morning person. But anyhow, so that's how much I've done. I'm pretty happy with it. Number 3, have you reached any milestones so far this year? Well, my Lear was ready for proof, my proof copy, but I'm going through it again. So I guess in a way that is a milestone. And I am sharing my Which is a Solace with my critique partner. And back in June, I actually shared my entire book, Lear, with my critique partners. And that's been interesting. I've gotten about 4 chapters into that from their comments, but I'm not looking at them until I send away my proof copy. Well, send away to get my proof copy, or I guess upload, because I'm afraid that if I go into their comments, then it's just going to take me longer, and it's been long enough. So far, the word count for Lear, before I started doing all these final edits, was 61,349 words. And as of the end of last year, my word count for Which is a Solace, book 1, is 87,587 words. So, hey, that's good. I'm happy with that. Even though here I am rambling, even though when I started Which is a Solace, my daughter, who is now 25, was in elementary school. So let's do question 4. What does your writing routine look like now? Has it changed since the beginning of the year or last year? Happy with it? If not, how would you want it to look like? My writing routine is I try to write every day, even if it's just a half a day. If I happen to have to go to town, which is I'm in the vehicle for 2 hours, an hour there, an hour back. Luckily, I don't drive, so I can get reading done. But I don't tend to work on my writing. So other than those, I tend to start my writing about between 9 and 10 in the morning, normally. And last year, I used to also write a couple of hours, a couple of nights a week, because I follow the Heart Breathings writing community sprints. as well as a few other people. So whenever there's a sprint available, I tend to go to them because it's kind of like it gives me motivation and accountability. And it's just, they're amazing. But lately, like I would say probably the last few months, maybe the last 6 months or so, I tend to, instead of writing during the after supper sprints for me, I read. I either read a paperback or read on my phone on my Kobo. And lately, I've been reading my critique partner's chapters. Thanks to Google Docs, I finally figured that out and used it, so I get to put comments those as well. And I've also started using the Google Docs for my own comments and revisions for these final edits. Like if I'm missing a punctuation or I've got double words, I just highlight them and fix them on my laptop. That is pretty much that question. And when I'm writing, it's not necessarily words revision. Sometimes it's writing in my writer's journal. I'm doing research, doing summaries for my chapters, which is reverse outlining, and anything writing related. So the fifth question: have you encountered any good resources about writing? The only resources that I try to focus on is Sarah Cannon's playlist for writers, as well as I finally purchased and read most of Save the Cat, the young adult version, which is been interesting. Just recently, Sarah shared a book roadmap, and that has basically the key terms that you need to look for in your novels. And I've been using that for the first time, and it's been interesting. I haven't put in the character arc yet because I'm still kind of working through that. I'm not really sure how to answer those questions, as well as the beats. So I'm working on that. And that's it for that question. Oh, and then I've actually found a few books that I purchased anywhere between 6 to 12 years ago, and I'm going through those again a little bit. And that's it for that question. Number 6, if you write with a playlist, what are your current go-to songs to get into writing modes? I do not have a playlist. I do listen to music. When I was writing Witches of Soulless, I would listen to a lot of CDs with Celtic music because one of my main characters, she grew up in Scotland, and Ireland Irish is very important to her and her family. So I was listening to a lot of that type of music. And since I discovered YouTube, which is really not that long ago, considering how long YouTube's been around, but when I started with the writing sprints, I went to YouTube and I found so much music. So I listen to a lot of now Celtic music, Viking music, fantasy, those type of music, but I also listen to my country and classic rock and that. I always say and kind of giggle about it that my dad would be very happy because he loves classical music. Growing up, we would go on week-long driving road trips, and he would listen to Mozart and all those classical music. And me and my sisters, there's 3 of us all together, and we would say, Dad, could you please find a station that has lyrics? And so now I do most of my listening to music is without lyrics, but I found a few channels recently that has the Celtic music and the Viking music, but it's also lyrics, but it's soothing. So I guess that will be my music and playlist. 7, toughest moment relating to your writing so far this year. I would have to say when I finished my thought was final edits for Lear, and I was going through Sarah's Publish and Thrive videos of how to do the upload of on the KDP and all that. And I had my cover art. My daughter-in-law was working on it at the time, but it wasn't finished. I thought, well, I can just upload my book and play around with that and formatting and all that, and then I can add it. It wouldn't let me, and I tried Draft-to-Digital, KDP. It just wouldn't work, and I was just getting so frustrated, and the imp popped up and the negative talk. And then I'm like, okay, maybe my problem is I don't have my cover uploaded yet. So I let my daughter-in-law know that I needed it earlier than I thought. So we went through that lickety split and did the front cover, the spine, the back, and all that. And I uploaded it, and oh my goodness, it's so easy. So that was my meltdown. The formatting I didn't find too difficult, but that was the toughest. And then the opposite, the best. I don't want to go into details because let's face it, when you're sprinting with other writers, at least 3 times a day or sometimes more, like on special events, that I would say probably every writing sprint I went to was amazing. When I do my own writing sprints, even if there's just 2 people, even if there's no people there, it was pretty amazing. And when I have like 4 or 5 people, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's like the best. And also one of my best memories related to writing so far is when I saw my cover art. It was amazing. And I also decided to do a little graphic for the publishing name I want to use. And I found one of those just playing around on Canva. And then I showed it to Cheyenne. And she's like, well, how about I just design one like that in the same program that she used for my cover art? So we did that. And that was pretty amazing to see those. It's like, okay, that's one step closer to my forever dream of having a book published. And another one of my best memories is my mastermind group that thanks to Publish and Thrive. And if you have not joined the mastermind group yet that's connected with Publish and Thrive, do so. You might get really lucky and get like amazing partners. And number 9, oh, I went too far down. So 9, something important that you've learned or advice for future self. I would have to say for my future self that just like what I would have given my past self, don't give up. If you're feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and it's like, oh, do I have to read this chapter again? And you're finding more mistakes or just different ways to improve it, like revisions and rewrites, don't give up. Just keep on doing it. And whatever you do, don't listen to the negative sound in your head. Don't listen to the imp. If you have people in your life that's not supporting you, don't listen to them. If it's your dream to actually write a book, even if no one reads it, like for me, if I have like one person reading it, then I'm happy. Like with my beta readers, I've had a couple of people that read it. And if they're the only people that read it, I'm happy because I'm not in it for success and all that. It's just something that I've wanted to do since I was a teenager, which I wish I did keep those short stories. Okay, so that, and if you need to take a break, just take a break. If it happens to be like an hour, if it has to be a couple of days, Take the break, but never give up. And there's some comments, so I'll scroll down to the comments. Mama Maggie says, so excited you are so close. Yes, I am. I'm just hoping this read through doesn't take me months, but I've got 18 chapters for Lear, and yesterday I went through 5 chapters. They were all pretty simple. A lot of it is just I want to make sure that I did put in all the changes that I put on my phone from previous. So back up to chapter. Yeah, I'm a writer. Number 10, what would you like to accomplish with your writing during the second half? Well, I would really like to finish those goals I started at the beginning of the year. So yes, I will hold my proof copy of Lear. I'm hoping on getting it out like in the next week or so, because my dad and sister's coming for a visit in about 5 weeks. So I'm really hoping I can hand him my book that I printed. I do understand it could take up to 6 weeks to get it back, but if it takes that long, then I'll just mail it to him. And I would really like to finish book 1 of Which is a Solace, finish all the revisions, even if I don't have the comments back yet, because so far that book is about, I think it's like 38 chapters. Some of them are pretty small, like it's about maybe 1,500 words. Because when I wrote it originally, I had more than one person's point of view in a chapter, and I changed that. And each chapter has their own point of view, so some of them chapters are shorter. And so and get that proof copy all ready for like next year. It'd be great if I can have it done by March, but we'll see. And an extra wish, if I can get it done by the end of the year, is another round of revisions for Nexus. And we have tag. Okay, I put the tags in the description below with the questions. I hope I did it right. I'll also, So the first person I'm going to tag is the revised writer, Tracy, fellow Canadian, and I write with her. And I often say that I probably wouldn't have gotten this far in the confidence to even do this, and for beta readers, if it wasn't for Tracy, the revised writer, and all the other admins over at Heart Breathings, and also Jody Jean Daniels. I'm going to take her. And that's another thing that I forgot to answer back in the best memories. Where is that? Number 6, I think. I didn't write down number 6. But number 6, I'm pretty sure it was. And one of my best moments was when I had my interview with Jody Jean. That was in March. And so I'm going to take her, as well as Devin Gabrielle Clark. I write with her. And I've read her first book and halfway through her second book for beta readers. So I can't wait to see what they are like now. And that is it for the chat. All the questions. Okay, and there's more little chatting between Jen and Mama Maggie. So thank you so much for being here. I thought this will take about 30 minutes, and it's 25 on my little clock. So thank you, and thank you for doing the tag, Mama Maggie says. And thank you for tagging me. And I will see you guys all later. Just as a kind of plug in or shout out that I am doing my Monday afternoon sprints in about 2.5 hours. So I will see you then. And hopefully you're feeling better, Mama Maggie. I remember having a migraine maybe twice in my life. And the first time was when my son was like really little. And I just remember it was horrible, just horrible. So I couldn't even imagine going days with migraines. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I will see you guys all later. I'll pop into other sprints. Okay, I always do. So thank you so much. And I'm going to have a break. I'm going to have some lunch. And she's medicated. Good. So, yeah, exactly. Okay, so I will see you guys all later. Thank you so much for popping in and sharing this with me. Bye for now.